Hey, Facebook, how you doing? I had a question posed to me about working in law enforcement. One of the things they were talking about was this thing what they do with their politicking. That's where basically they worry about how they're going to take care of things the following year financially and so forth. And when the officers are going through things and they're coming to their management group and they're telling them about issues that are going on, say within jails or anywhere within law enforcement, that is not being addressed because what they do is, and this is something that I think we get to see quite often, is where people that are in the highest levels of, may it be the jail or may it be in law enforcement anywhere, what they do is they all do this networking thing where they cover each other to make sure that, if there's anything going wrong, and then if someone speaks out, of course, they come after them. This is something that I think really has to stop, and these officers need to be taken care of. We just got finished, experiencing, the riots in Delaware. I think there was something happening in Michigan as well. And so all these riots that are going on now throughout jails, and people are not looking into this. And normally it's on the top end that when an issue is brought to management, people up in power, what they do is they frown upon their people for bringing the information to them. And what they do is they get together and they kind of politic, and they kind of help each other out. One person covers another person to make sure that person doesn't get in trouble. Then anyone who does speak out, what they do is they try to make that person look bad. That's a bad thing that has to stop, because when people are trying to come forth and tell about information that's going on, it should be a concern of that facility. Those people should take care of their people to make sure that they're out of harm's way and that they're safe at all times, because these people do have family. I think one of the things that Mr. Enoch said, which I thought was really great, is that people are worried if they're going to make it home. And that's something that we have to look at, because a whole lot of people are afraid in the jobs that they're doing because of life safety issues. So I just wanted to pose the question: what do you feel about the politicking that goes on in a whole lot of these agencies, where they're more or less networking to cover each other? Let's say, for instance, if you have a warden of the jail, director of jails, all those guys are friends, and then you have an inspector to come in to inspect the jail, and he's friends with those guys. Or you have, beyond that, you have going up the chain of command. Nobody wants to address the concern, because part of it is financial, and part of it, they don't want to deal with the task that's at hand. See, that's something I think that's crazy too, is that a whole lot of these people that are in position to handle it won't handle it, and they stay out of the way. They say, well, I'll let so-and-so handle it. I'll let this person handle it. We have to address the concerns of our people. Things have to change. And until, I believe, the officers come together and start to really put things on paper. See, as long as you don't put it on paper, we have a rule where I'm at. If you didn't write it down, it didn't happen. One thing I believe all management understands is that when you put it on paper and you quit talking to them and you tell them and you put on paper, that becomes a legal binding document. That document needs to go into their hands. You need to make sure you make a copy for yourself, because stuff gets lost all the time. So you get it time stamped. You do whatever you got to do, but you get that information into their hands and you make sure they know, because that way, when something should happen, like what just happened, like I said, in Delaware, you would have documentation to show that you try to address this concern. There's all kinds of civil rights violations, that are done, as well as, there's punitive damages, all those things that we need to look at. And so if they don't want to do things the right way, we have to make sure that we put these things in the right people's hands to get the job done. I'm just saying, politicking, when it comes down to police work, coming down to corrections, should be something that should never happen. It should always be, what do we need to take care of our people? What do we need to make sure our people are safe no matter what? So in my closing, just if you get opportunity, send out a shout, and let people know, like I said, that we need to make these changes. Make sure that you do, the reports that you need to do and put them into the right people's hands. And also make sure you make a copy. Make sure you let them know if it's a hostile working environment. Let them know it's a hostile working environment. Quit trying to be Superman in certain areas because you're afraid of what they're going to think about you. I can care less what you think about me if someone's going to kill me. I'm going to make sure I tell the truth and nothing but the truth, whether you like me or not. I'm going to tell you what it is, and it's up to you to handle it as my boss, supervisor, whatever. We have to get to a point where fear is no longer an option, because as long as we stand in fear as officers, we'll never get the job done right. We'll never get the equipment that we need, and we'll find many people hurt. And we know most of the times when people get hurt on the job, they have a certain amount of time to get well. And if they're not well, then they're put off the job. And once they're off the job, they basically have to struggle with trying to find out how they're going to make ends meet for their children, for their family, for their wives, for their husband. And that's crazy. We have to start standing behind our officers and start to make sure that things are being done the right way. If someone is standing up for you, get behind that person. Find out what you need to do to help work and get that thing done so that your facility can be taken care of the right way. As a director for OPBA, this is something I keep on trying to force through our people, to let them know we all have to come together. We all have to make sure the reports are being done. I don't care if they like you or don't like you. Understand something. Get out of this thing that I don't want people to bother me or mess with me. They're already messing with you if they're putting your life in danger. If they're not willing to take care of you, then you need to put it on paper so someone knows what's going on. One person is a complainer. But all the people in the facility, when you start to come together, it becomes an issue that has to be addressed. We have to quit being afraid. Someone has to speak up, and guess what? If that happens to be me and my head's on a chopping block, so be it. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm sick and tired of watching this politicking crap going on and people's lives at stake and no one cares. I care too much about my family and my friends to see this go on any longer. So we need to stand up together and start to do what we need to do. Just saying, we need to make sure we take care of our people. God bless you all and take care. I'm out.